Woo! Starship Troopers. This game's fun. I have an absolute blast playing this game. It's everything you would want a horde shooter to be. I will say this, it does not run very well on the PlayStation. I can only speak from that point of view. So I know that it definitely has that problem. It's frame rates it gets really laggy. You know, the frames start to drop. That's just my personal experience. That's what I have to deal with when I play. But I still come back and play because it's like just messing up through the floor. It's buggy, but I have fun playing it. You know, and it's like for me, like if they could just fix, those the laggy, the jitters, it is clunky. It is definitely a clunky game, but bad. It is so much fun to play. I have a great time playing it all the time, even though it's buggy, even though it's glitchy, it's laggy. You're falling through the floor, you're spawning through the floor, you can't get out, or it's still fun. So I mean, you just gotta, you gotta take that, when you play this game, and so when you're playing it, just kind of, it's got to be really something that you want to do. Do you want to stand on top of a wall with turrets, machine guns and flamethrowers, and building your base, and just going on these little side objectives with your squad? If they go with you, unless you have your friends with you, and you're communicating with them, it's definitely still fun. Like they have a variety of bugs in here, that would come out, so which is pretty cool too. And it's they got a little bit of everything when it comes to bugs, and it's just so much fun. You got the main ones right here that are the meat of the waves that you have to kill. They can kind of be glitchy too, they kind of like stop sometimes, or they're looking off into the distance, it looks like. But for the most part, the game works. At its core, the game functions. Yeah, otherwise, why would I still be playing it? And it's just something I've learned to just kind of deal with, and you could tell that they have such a solid game here that even I just come back to it. I was just like, what I could do? I could go with just standing on a wall and just burning a bunch of bugs, or just unloading on it with a machine gun. Just hold down the trigger and just shoot. That's what this game is. They have different classes. You got your sniper class, your assaults, it's varied. It definitely is, and it still has that, but it's still really cool. Just me, I just enjoy doing that. Just standing on the wall, just shooting things with the flamethrower. I don't think it gets any better than that for me personally. I love games that do the flamethrower justice. I think that's always the best part with games for me. Personally, I know some games that they have flamethrowers incredibly short ranged, or they don't do a lot of damage. This game really gives the flamethrower what it's worth, and that's why I like it. I'm a flamethrower guy. I just like fire, I guess. It just kind of gets me in that that caveman brain of mine. Just likes to see fire. Just likes to see fire and just burning a bunch of bugs, and it's a lot of fun. And it's not an expensive game either. I think it's like around $30. You might catch it on sale every now and again, which of course I'll recommend that you do. Buy it on sale. If you like these types of games. If you don't like these types of games, just stay away from it. You're not going to have fun. You're going to hate it. You're going to feel like you wasted some money. But I definitely think it's one of those games that if you like horde shooters, if you can get over the fact that it's so laggy and buggy, and it has its problems, if you could get over that fact, then if you're on console, right? Again, I'm only speaking for PlayStation. If you could get over that fact, it's fun. I have a great time. I always have fun playing it. And I mainly would play the horde mode. I just recently played, like, they have an arc mode where you you go out and gather materials and bring it back to your base. They have different modes in here, and it's still fun. They even have a campaign. I didn't try the campaign because I didn't feel like it's a single player. I think the strength of this game is you get to, play with, a big group of people. Like a big. I can't see like they have like, they have quite a bit. I think it's 16, maybe more. It's around there. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in this game, and in these modes that you get to, just see everyone just doing their best to survive, and everyone plays their roles so well. If I could do that too, it's like their community in this game is awesome. Let me just say that the community in this game, everybody plays their role. You have your engineers, they'll build, they'll repair, they'll do stuff. They'll do their role. And they do it really well. And I think that's what's really cool about this community here is they have a strong community. I'm sure these are people who love the movies. They love the movies, and so they watch them, and then they're like, you know what I feel like doing? Standing on a wall and shooting a bunch of bugs. This community is really cool. I haven't had any issues with them, and they're normally just a bunch of people just playing and just enjoying the game for what it is. Regardless of whatever the current state of the game is. They still have updates for it. I don't know if they can fix some of these issues on the console. I know this game's been out for a while now, and it still has a lot of the jitteriness and the lagginess and it still has those. It feels like early access, even though it's full release. It still has that problem, but it's fun. It's a great time, and I think if you like the movies, if you like sci-fi, if you like just what you see. I know when I first booted this up and recorded this footage, they were doing like night modes, so I couldn't get like a daytime mode. Everything was night mode, in the quick play list and stuff, and I was like, oh man. So I was like, oh, you know what? But it's still cool. Like, they still did a good job with the night mode. I mean, as you can see, it's like dark is dark, and you have like a little flashlight that does a pretty good job. It's not super long-reaching flashlight, but it's still pretty cool. Yeah, and I think that's what's great about it. I think they did such a great job with this game. You could tell that, a lot of work went into it. And they really tried to put something out there for fans. If that's what this game is for, it's for fans of the movie, fans of the book. And that's who they were putting it out for, and they did a good job. They were able to expand, able to, make it fun, make it challenging, make it feel overwhelming. One of the strong points of this game, which I think where the problems come into, is just the amount of bugs that come in, and their bodies just get piled on each other, so they could use that pile to jump over the wall. And I think that's kind of where I believe a lot of the frame rate issues and the lagginess, because just the game just trying to have all these dead, bug bodies in the game just loaded in, because they don't just disappear. You have to actively, cut them down, break them apart, or burn them, and you have to be active, in that area to get rid of these bodies, because it's a part of the gameplay. It's fun. I don't know what else to say. This game is fun. I have a good time playing it. I think people who like this type of game, who have fun in this type of game, it's just Horde modes. It's just the game to play. This is the game to play. And I think, there's tons of Horde mode games out there where you just have waves of enemies coming at you. This one's, I think, a little bit more niche with the fans, with the fans of Starship Troopers. If you want to use the guns, you want to use just to have the character, the armored, and just that type of and just see these waves of bugs just coming at you. And I think some games just don't have that just wave of creatures the way that this game does. That this game tried, they tried really hard to do it with this game. Just waves of these big, massive, bugs that are just towering over you, looking to just, hit you, take you out. And yeah, this game definitely has its strong points and its weak points, but it's fun. It's fun. What else can I say about it? It's a fun game. I have fun. I still boot it up. I still download it. I'll uninstall it sometimes and then re-download it. That's when a game is fun, because it's not something that just sits in, you never touch it again. Like, it's one of those games where it's not like something where it's so difficult to where it's like I have to lock in and really focus and really pay attention. It's something that you can throw something on, listen to music, throw on your favorite podcast, throw on your favorite, just background, noise, and just play, because engage in the community. But for me, like when I play Horde games, I normally like to just listen to something and, listen to, a podcast or, whatever it is, and play, because it's not something that's super intensive for me. I normally play normal, and sometimes I'll play on the hard modes if I want to at the time. If they're doing it on my favorite planet or whatever it is, then I'll normally jump in on it. But it's fun. I have a great time, and like I've said, it's fun so much. But it is fun. It's definitely something that I think is enjoyable. I mean, I didn't play too long. I normally play for about an hour and a half on some games before I'm just like, okay, I just need to move on to something else, or I have other things to do. I don't really have too much time to play sometimes, but when I do have like that hour or so to play, these games, these are the types of games that I'll boot up, these horde mode type games, and jump in for an hour or so and have fun. So it's definitely that. It is a good game. Yeah. So, yeah, just wanted to talk about it. Just really wanted to, just talk about it. Really, no in-depth review here. I don't really do that. I don't really do in-depth reviews. I don't, break it open, developers and, things like that. How they're doing and how they made it, and who's who in these game developers. I don't really do that here. I'm very casual. I've been playing games for such a long time, and I've done that, followed games before, and, I've done that before, and it's just like for this, I've been just trying to stay away from a lot of the, following the development cycle of games. It just takes a long time, and it's not really something that I just really crack open, especially when I'm doing stuff like this. It's just games that I'm having fun, and I just want to talk about it because it's fun. I mean, most games that I want to talk about are fun. And so I don't really want to break into the games I don't have fun playing, because it's not entertaining to me, because I don't think the game is fun. So I just don't do it. But it's, these games where they are fun, I just talk about. I'm not really into the, cracking open the mechanics, the classes. It's, there's 1,000 millions of other channels that do that better, and it's their hardcore job, and they love it. That's good for them. That's what I do. I watch them. I go to them and I go, hey, how's this game? I've watched videos on this, like how the classes work, and I've done that, and it's fun. And I enjoy doing that. Just watching these people do it and really crack it open if I really want to see it, like a review. And there's tons of reviewers out there, and I would recommend going to them. Me is just like, I'm just like, hey, play this game. It's a lot of fun. If you could swing the $30 or just get it on sale. My personal preference is, you get it on sale, and it's fun. I think that you should definitely take a look at it, and it's just a personal recommendation. You might not sink 100 or 400 hours into this, but it's something that if you had enough friends to play with, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I definitely see that. But again, the entry price might be a little steep for the quality of what it is for some people, and I totally get that. It's like if you got money to burn type of game. If you could swing that 30, or what is it, like 40 or whatever, like $30, or get it on sale, you're just kind of, you're kind of in a lull, not really interested in playing a whole lot of games, or you're waiting. This will hold your attention for a while. I believe that. And I think I probably have like 40 hours in it, and I think I still enjoy it. I still enjoy booting it up and playing it for that most part. But yeah, Yeah, I just wanted to talk about it. It's a fun game. There's something about the amount of action that goes on in these, especially in the later horde, like the later waves. I think around like wave 7, it starts getting really difficult. But it's on I think it's on the normal difficulty. It gets really difficult around then, but it's always fun. If you just want to get into it and just kill things for a bit, this is a fun game to do it in. It's just a horde mode game. Yeah, but if you have a favorite horde mode game, if there's a certain game that what's your favorite horde mode game? What game do you play? If you just like, I just feel like just standing somewhere, just holding down the right trigger and just not letting go. Like, what's your favorite horde mode game? Was it Left 4 Dead? Was it Gears of War's horde mode? Is it, Starship Troopers? Is it, Helldivers? Yeah, I think that kind of qualifies as a horde mode game, in a sense, right? And, you got just where you're just a couple of people just standing against waves of enemies. What's your favorite horde mode game? There's tons of games now that have this mode in it, and it's really cool to see that game mode really jump. Call of Duty Zombies, Left 4 Dead. This made it really popular. The horde mode aspect of games. Firefight from Halo. Like, everyone really wanted a piece of that horde mode pie, and horde mode's like my favorite. I gotta say, it's like one of my favorite genres to play, and I absolutely enjoy them. It's definitely a very niche game. It's not for everybody, and I wouldn't recommend it to everybody. You just definitely got to be like that guy who's like, yo, I gotta play this. I have to. If you've been sitting on the fence now about it, pick it up on sale. Don't buy it full price. And if you've just been sitting on the fence about it, but it's still fun. It's still a great time. I don't know what happened here. I got like. Else in the sauce, everything froze. I see the game's buggy. But it's a lot of fun. I think it's a good time, and I think everyone should play it at one point if they were a fan of it. That's all from me. I didn't want to take too long on this one. Just kind of wanted to talk about it. Just show off one of my favorite horde mode games that I'll still jump into from time to time. All right, that's pretty much all for me. I'm trying to keep these a lot shorter instead of just sitting here talking for an hour. All right, then. I'll see you guys.